All right, the Tea Party movement has been roundly condemned by liberals, threatened by the group's success, and now comes the NAACP with an official report condemning the Tea Party, as you guessed it, racist. Now, back in July, the NAACP issued a resolution calling out the, quote, racist elements in the Tea Party movement. Now comes this report, which under the heading, providing a platform to bigots, the report concludes that, quote, Tea Party leaders have promoted and provided a platform to known racists and anti-Semites on multiple occasions. But what about those African-American members of the Tea Party? The NAACP's report has an answer for that, too. Quote, people of color have been prominently put forward as speakers or entertainers at Tea Party rallies, as if to say, look, this is a racially diverse movement that wants to add more colors to its ranks. Now, for Democrats, smearing conservatives as a bunch of racists is nothing new. In fact, it's one of their favorite campaign strategies. Remember this Missouri Democratic Party radio ad? It ran back in 1998.
When you don't vote, you let another church explode. When you don't vote, you allow another cross to burn. When you don't vote, you let another assault wound a brother or sister. When you don't vote, you let the Republicans continue to cut school lunches and Head Start.
Paid for by the Missouri Democratic Party. Now, just 2 years later, George Bush threatened the success of the Democrats on the campaign trail, and the NAACP tarred him with this infamous ad.
I'm Renee Mullins, James Burr's daughter. On June 7, 1998, in Texas, my father was killed. He was beaten, chained, and then dragged 3 miles to his death, all because he was black. So when Governor George W. Bush refused to support hate crimes legislation, it was like my father was killed all over again. Call George W. Bush and tell him to support hate crimes legislation. We won't be dragged away from our future.
Now, that ad forgot to remind people that George W. Bush supported the death penalty for the people responsible for that horrific crime. And when times got tough for the Anointed One in the campaign of 2008, he knew just what to do.
They're going to try to say that I'm a risky guy. They're going to try to say, well, you know, he's got a funny name. And he doesn't look like all the presidents on the dollar bills.
So will the NAACP's racial attack work? Joining me now with reaction from the New York Civil Rights Coalition, Mike Meyers, and a fellow with Project 21, Fox News contributor, Deneen Borelli. Guys, welcome back.
Thank you.
Crosses will burn. It's like my father's dragged to death all over. George Bush supported the death penalty for the people responsible for that crime.
Well, the NAACP has not changed. It's still old-fashioned racial hustling. When the answer to the question, take me to your leader, please let it not be the NAACP. The NAACP is not intelligent, it's not smart, it's not to be taken seriously. It has become the laughing stock of America.
All right, but here, obviously these tactics must have some impact. Otherwise, 1998, the tactic was used in Missouri. The NAACP ad in 2000, 13 days now before an election, they released this report. So they wouldn't do it if they didn't think it was effective. What are they trying to accomplish?
Well, let's look at the timing of all this, just like you mentioned. You know, Tea Party movement has been around for almost 2 years now. They are just now trying to play the race card since this past summer. Now we're coming up to the midterm elections. That's 2 weeks away. Clearly, what they're trying to do is scare black voters into voting and going to the polls. But clearly, this NAACP movement is nothing but a liberal front group, a progressive group masquerading as a civil rights organization.
How insulting, too, is it, because there are many African Americans that are part of the Tea Party movement that have gone to rallies, shown up at rallies, spoken at rallies, to be dismissed the way they were in this report? Michael?
Well, what they do is, look, if you're white and you disagree with the NAACP's agenda, you're a racist. If you're black and you disagree with the NAACP's racial rhetoric and its lunacy, then you're a Tom. Or you're not an authentic voice of the black community. It's just sheer racial rhetoric. The NAACP has got to be repeated and reiterated, is not a serious civil rights organization. It cannot think. It can't.
Well, I want to ask Deneen this question here. In July, you sent a letter to the senior vice president, Hillary Shelton at the NAACP, and you were given a promise.
On national television, on a Fox News program.
Yeah. That if you were attacked, that they would come to your defense.
Right.
And you gave her numerous examples where, this is very common. Conservative African Americans are called the worst names.
All the time.
All the time.
Right.
Where's the NAACP?
Nowhere to be found. Crickets in the background. But listen, I'm a prominent speaker in the Tea Party movement. I've been at rallies across the country. I just returned from Punta Gorda, Florida yesterday. 300-400 people. Standing ovation several times during my speech.
Well,
my message is well received, but it's not about race. It's all about the policies that the American people are tired of being shoved down their
But you
throat.
are an independent and critical thinker, Deneen, and the problem is that NAACP, they don't care what you have to say and what you think, because they are witting or unwitting surrogates of the Democratic Party. And they want the Democrats to be elected, and that's why they paint and tar the Tea Party as a racist party. They don't care about the facts.
What do you make of what happened with Juan Williams and NPR?
Oh, this is outrageous. I think that the president, and CEO of NPR should be, the man should come in to resign. Where is the NAACP? I thought they believe in free speech. Here's a black.
Is it connected? Here is Juan Williams, African American, fired for expressing a viewpoint that many people share.
He shared an independent point of view. That is what the progressives don't want, they don't like. And in their mind, you have strayed from their plantation. And anytime that happens, they will set an example. They will make an example of you for doing so. But thank goodness he has landed on his feet, Juan, and I'm sure
that doesn't always
work out
happen
for him.
And
Not at all.
This political correctness has a chilling impact. It is an intimidation factor.
Absolutely.
Well, they want to speak. They don't want anybody else to speak who disagrees with them. And then they want to be the censors and the pressure groups and force boycotts and sponsors to put the people who disagree with them off the air.
All right, guys, good to see you both. Thanks for being with us. And